The Secretary General is directed to read the title and text of Proclamation Number 933.
Malacanang Palace, Manila, by the President of the Philippines. Proclamation Number 933, calling the Congress of the Philippines to a special session. Pursuant to the powers vested in me under Section 15, Article 6 of the Constitution, I, Rodrigo Roa Duterte, President of the Philippines, do hereby call the Congress of the Philippines to a special session on March 23, 2020, or as soon as practicable to authorize the President to exercise powers necessary to carry out urgent measures to meet the current national emergency relating to the coronavirus disease, COVID-19, to provide ample latitude to utilize appropriate funds to strengthen governmental response against the threat of the said disease, and to continue providing basic services to the people, in addition to the urgent and critical measures implemented pursuant to Proclamation Numbers 922 and 929, Series of 2020, declaring a state of public health emergency and a state of calamity throughout the Philippines. In witness hereof, I hereby set my hand and cause the seal of the Republic of the Philippines to be affixed. Done in the city of Manila this 21st day of March in the year of our Lord 2020. Signed, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. By the President, signed, Salvador C. Meldaldía, Executive Secretary.
For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Yan po ang nasa Jeremiah 29:11. At anuman ang ating maging religion, during these most difficult times, this is the best time to remember na may Diyos at merong planong maganda para sa atin. Tayo po ay nagpapasalamat kay Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte, katulad ng sinabi ng Minority Leader, for declaring the 4th week of March as a National Week of Prayer. But we are also thanking him for all he has done to try to defeat COVID-19, all he has done to delay and try to minimize yung pong ma-infect ng COVID-19. We reach today having to pass important legislation to address the national health emergency. But let us make it clear, what is this emergency? Marami pa rin po sa ating kababayan ang hindi nagso-social distancing, medyo parang piyesta pa sa kanilang lugar, nagiinuman, katabi, no? And they don't see that we can become dangerous to each other. I talked to a health expert na malapit sa WHO at tinanong ko lang sa kanya, kung walang ginawa si President Duterte, what if President Duterte did not do anything? He did not order the quarantine. He did not order the enhanced community quarantine. What if members of Congress did not stand up and ask the DOH to do anything, just like Congresswoman Janet Garin here and the others, no? Congresswoman Helen, the chairman ng Health. Anong mangyayari sa atin? Sabi niya sa akin, Speaker, maaring mga 30% may infect. So sa 100 million Filipinos, mga 35 million. And 2% nun mamamatay. 700,000 people. So we face the nation today asking, tayo ba bilang mga Pilipino, willing ba tayo na magkasakit po ang mahigit 30 milyong Pilipino? Bawasan nyo pa ho, gawin nyo pang 10 million people ang na-infect or 20 million people po. Willing po ba tayo na 400,000 or 200,000 po na mga Pilipino mamamatay? Hindi po. That is why we are here today to pass this legislation. Why? There is a simple message from government. Stay home, save lives. Pero meron pong simple message pabalik sa atin ang karamihan ng ating kababayan. We stay home, we need resources. So we're here today to bridge that. So today, let's remember a simple way of calling each other. Paano ba natin tawagin mga Pilipino pa kahit nasa abroad tayo? Hindi ba sinisit-sitan natin? Psst, psst, Madjo. PSST. P, prayer. S, stay at home. S, save lives, and T, take-home package or take-home pay, which we will pass today. Today, we want to show the world that there will be unprecedented cooperation between the executive and the legislative, that there will be unprecedented cooperation internationally, that today you will see congressmen, governors, and mayors working hand in hand. This is our part. We will do our part. We will help the mayors. We will help the LGUs deliver these resources into the hands of each and every households. So I thank all the members of Congress for your hard work. Many of you warned us of this. And I thank all of you who are in your districts taking care of your people but are with us online, and we will hear from you later on. Thank you, and let's get down to work. Majority Leader.
Along with the rest of the world, the Philippine government has been trying to address this crisis through measures that are unprecedented. Never before has the government required nearly all the citizens of Luzon to stay in their homes for 24 hours, allowing them to live only to buy their basic necessities. It is a step we were reluctant to take, but the circumstances and the experience of nations worldwide convinced us that we had no other choice. Truly, we live in highly unusual times, but today, we secretaries and senior officials of the executive branch now come before you, honorable members of Congress, believing that in a time of crisis, the rule of law should prevail. We come before you with the conviction that in the most challenging of times, our democratic institutions are up to the challenge and will prevail. We therefore approach the distinguished members of Congress, the elected legislators of our people, to ask for a law that will enable the President and the executive branch the legal authority to address this crisis in a manner that is free from the restrictions which, while beneficial during normal times, might prove disadvantageous during such an unusual time as this. In so doing, we do not desire to overstep the bounds of Constitution, which remains firmly in place even in times of emergency. In each of the powers we are requesting the Congress to grant the President, our objective is to hasten the delivery of services to those who are suffering or are suspected of having COVID-19, to halt its spread, and to bring relief to the rest of our countrymen who are now constrained to stay in their homes and give up for a time their ability to earn a daily living. Thus, among the legal authorities we are asking from you today is the ability to purchase equipment for our health workers on the front lines in the most expeditious way possible, without being restricted by existing procurement laws. For our laws have provisions for emergency procurement, even these are subject to procedures that are no longer appropriate to the situation we are facing today. We also ask for authority to ensure that our local governments will fall in line with the national policy for dealing with this crisis. We believe that under existing laws, they are already have that legal obligation to comply with standards that the national government has set regarding community quarantine. But the confusion sowed by the local government units who are acting on their own, preventing the entry of people and cargo in their territories when the national government has already exempted them from the quarantine restriction, is making life for the entire country more difficult than it already is. We thus appeal to Congress to enable the national government to swiftly deal with such wayward officials. We also appeal to Congress to enable the President to move deadlines and timelines for the filing of taxes and other requirements, as well as the payment of benefits such as mid-year and year-end bonuses. The question of extending deadline for income tax filing was an issue the past few weeks, and we have dealt with it by adjusting the deadline so as not to further burden our people who are on community quarantine. But if Congress will grant us this clear authority, such issues would be addressed without any delay. We also ask Congress to enable the President to more freely reallocate the budget in the General Appropriations Act and use the funds for addressing COVID-19. And now I come to the requested power that has been stirring some controversy since yesterday, and I believe unjustifiably so, the power to take over private establishments. Even as originally worded, the intent of the proposal was simply to grant to government a standby power. It is a power which do not consider necessary to be exercised at all times, because the establishments that are needed to deal with this crisis have, to their credit, been mostly cooperating with government. But we only desire such a power to be legislated because the virus we are up against is so unpredictable and can spread rapidly in a community. The power to take over is intended merely as a standby power in the event the crisis reaches its worst. When our most critical institutions are nearing a total shutdown and government is left with no choice but to take over these establishments. We are requesting it this early because we do not know how quickly our Congress can convene if and when we reach that point. Thus, for the benefit of our people, we opted to include it in our requested authorities. But as I said, this government believes that our democratic way of life will prevail through this crisis. As a testament to that conviction, we listen to the advice of our legislators and the opinions of our countrymen and have adjusted our proposal by narrowing it down and subjecting it to safeguards in addition to what we originally proposed. We hope our modified proposal would now merit our legislators' approval and our people's wholehearted consent. You may be assured that we only aim to equip your government with all the legal authorities necessary so that we can, at the shortest time, bring our life as a nation back to normalcy. Our legislators would note that the powers we are requested today have their own expiry date, as they would last only as long as COVID-19 crisis would last. And Congress itself would be able to closely monitor the actions of the executive through oversight committee to be created by the proposed law. We assure Congress and our countrymen that this administration has no intent to abuse the powers we are asking of you today. When this administration declared martial law in Mindanao, there were similar speculations that we were about to do away with our democratic institutions. But what happened? Martial law in Mindanao came and went peacefully without the abuses prevalent in the martial law of 1970s and early 80s. In fact, the two cannot even be compared. It would be like comparing a rotten apple to a freshly picked orange. The President and his administration has no intention at all to use these powers to its own advantage, but only for our people's advantage. Your administration simply desires to be equipped with all the legal authorities necessary for us to serve our people during this crisis in the most expeditious way and to bring an end to this national order at the soonest possible time, all the while remaining true to our democratic institutions, abiding by the rule of law, and upholding the supremacy of the Constitution. We thus request the members of Congress to grant these legal authorities to the national government. Through this legislation and your continued support, magbayanihan tayo and let us all heal as one. God bless us all.
We would like to thank the esteemed